While many people around the world are on the royal baby watch, a Tulsa area woman who was adopted spent decades trying to find her birth parents. It took more than 30 years, but she says she found out she is the illegitimate granddaughter of Sir Winston Churchill. And tonight's To the Point News anchor Russ McCaskey talks to Rhonda Noonan about her story.
And we welcome in Rhonda Noonan, who is from Sand Springs, and you have a very interesting family background. Tell me a little bit about your family tree and how you found out you were related to Winston Churchill.
Well, the journey was a long one. It started in 1980 when I came to understand that I had a grandfather who maybe had had an interest in me, had cared about me, and like many adoptees, particularly as a young child, I had some pretty significant grief and loss issues, felt like I had been tossed away. So the idea that someone in my biological family might be interested in me was very compelling, and I decided that I had to find this grandfather. Now, of course, I didn't in my wildest dreams guess that I would find Winston Churchill, but that's how the story goes. And it was covered up. It was covered quite effectively by the FBI and some folks in our State Department. So it took almost 30 years for me to figure it all out.
Certainly a lot of digging. You've written a book about it called The Fifth and Final Name. And just let me ask you a little bit about the FBI's role in this. So they were trying to be complicit with the Churchill family and with England and to keep this a secret.
Well, yes, I would assume so. I don't know who in the Churchill family knew about this other than obviously Randolph Churchill, who was my biological father. But they did some interesting things. They tapped my adoptive parents' home phone. So the only time my parents could communicate with the people in the city was if they called from their home number. The FBI showed up in Tonkawa a few months prior to my adoption and interviewed my adoptive mother's employers. She had worked at the bank and worked at a drugstore, and they talked to her employers, talked to my grandparents, and talked to a couple of businessmen who were close to the family. So there was a little hubbub about why the FBI had shown up in Tonkawa.
It really is a fascinating story. Tell me a little bit about the reaction. This book came out, I guess, in Europe last year. What's the reaction over there?
It's been surprisingly fabulous. They've been very supportive of me. It would certainly be understandable to me that people would be, a little bit skeptical, certainly, and want to know the facts. And I've tried to do a very good job of laying the facts out very methodically in the book as they happened. That was very important to me.
I mean, when you kind of think about all the people that might be living here in Oklahoma and want to be a grandchild of Winston Churchill, it kind of almost sounds fantastic, but when you break it down, you dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Yeah, it does sound fantastic. It sounds fantastic to me. I often tell my friends, had I not lived this, I would never believe it. Yeah. But I did locate the assistant to Lloyd Rader, who met Randolph Churchill about this matter, so I'm quite confident that I've crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's.
What was your reaction when you first found out?
Disbelief. Disbelief. The facts were staring me in the face, but it was very hard to wrap around the whole idea.
Well, again, the book is The Fifth and Final Name by Rhonda Noonan. Thanks for coming in and telling us your story.
Thank you, Russ.